everybody. It's been a while, but I'm back with something really interesting because I was contacted by the lovely people at Xils-lab that they've made a new CS80 plugin, and they asked me to have a look at it and compare it with my CS80. And well, what I want to do today is because what they did is they also copied the exact presets, and I don't think all of the others did. I'm not pretty sure, I have to say. And so that's going to be a simple way of just taking you through the to some of the first 7-8 presets and see what happens. So and I put a little bit. Both of them have some reverb on it from the Lexicon, the plugin from UA, because that I know it's probably not the best comparison, but it's exactly the same sound, and it does give. I made a video on how the CS80 sounds without reverb, and a touch of reverb really helps. And again, in the comparison, I have the same settings on both of them. So without further ado, let's look. If you start, it opens on string number 1. And string number 1 sounds something like... Well, if you have a good imagination, it does sound like a string. It's not the most beautiful sound. But see what happens, what Xils-lab did. Really pretty close, not to say that I think in a recording I'm pretty sure nobody would hear the difference. I think the C is a little bit harsher, but it can be the brilliance. String number 2, string number 3 actually on the CS. And even if I close the brilliance, the CS seems to have the thing is, the difference is not so much the sound, because they really nailed it. They actually really nailed it. The CS has a very specific sound, and it doesn't always sound that good, to be honest. It can be really harsh, and it can be, it's really difficult to get some sort of really warm, Roland-like sound from it. But obviously, when I play like 5 or 6 notes, I play 5 or 6 oscillators that at the end of the day are sort of always out of tune. And so the in that respect, actually the 80 sounds better. But it does offer that brilliance, that high end, that will make it stand out in the mix. And I haven't heard that in other emulations. That is really strong. Brass. That's not bad at all. On the contrary, it's really fun to play with the 80. And it does really give you that hardware feel and directness and sound that the real thing has as well. Let's mix them with brass too. As you can hear, obviously, as I said before, the effect of when I play with, I don't know, both oscillators with like 5 or 6, then you hear 10 oscillators, and these oscillators are all tuned differently. So there is a difference, but the character of the sound is really there. Flute, next one. Those were still 2 oscillators. Now I have the flute in solo. electric piano, which has nothing to do with an electric piano, but is still a very nice sound. I'll add some sustain here. Have to find where the sustain is. Found it. Again, they're different, but that has to do with the fact that this thing is a little bit out of tune. Fortunately, summer of the next month, we're lucky because in Holland we have a high-end leading CS80 technician who will not only work on the tuning and the oscillators, he will actually build in presets and MIDI. So what I will do once that's been done, and it will be somewhere before the summer, and the thing is in tune, I will probably repeat the comparison, because really this sounds really nice. And obviously it's different than this. You hear the phasing of the oscillators, but the character and the whole feeling of it, and it's what is it called again? Velocity sensitive. But if you would play this with an MPE keyboard that Native Instrument has just introduced, and you have weighted keys, and you have polyphonic aftertouch, it will be even closer to this thing. Little tryout here. You may recognize this. Here I have to say that the CS seems to have a little bit more beef. Well, actually more beef. And I didn't do anything in EQ. I can imagine, I just took it sort of out of the box and start comparing it. I didn't even read the manual, that there's loads of possibilities to beefing up the sound a little. There's a little bit more twang, which probably comes from the bass. You see, a little bit less brilliance. It's much closer. I think here I tweak a little bit, taking out a little bit of the resonance and playing around with the brilliance. But also here, it really nails the overall feeling. And you can hear from the recording that, you know, when I wanted to make this, when I wanted to start filming and comparing, the CS was behaving badly. There were also sort of noises coming out of it, and you know, in real life, it's probably much easier to live with a plugin than to this living, breathing machine, and that's also the charm of it. It has a life on its own, and it's pretty cold in Holland, and the studio wasn't that warm, so it took the CS a couple of hours to sort of be ready to start playing. No, for now I want to leave it here. I think, you know, with these first 5 presets, you get a first idea of what the 80 is capable of, and I played 2 other emulations, but you know, this one really nails it. This one really nails it, and I'll be back with some more comparisons. But I think for now it gives you an idea what the instrument is capable of. Yeah. See you next time. Bye bye.